Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Darkest Files, the demo. I've been keeping my eye on the Darkest Files for a while. Saw the announcement for it. I've been waiting for a demo to drop for the longest time. Got the demo honestly like a month ago, but haven't had, between playing Enigma, Fate, and so on, haven't had the chance to really sink my teeth into it. Let's keep going. And let's see how noir we can get. Because the first thing, you didn't hear it, but when I turned on the game, it had this little jazzy, piano thing going that, just tickled me really well. Empty for now. Story mode, investigator mode. What the hell are you talking about? Investigator mode. The events in our game are based on true crimes committed during the Nazi era, and we're investigating the young Federal Republic of Germany. With the exception of Fritz Bauer, the names of all those involved have been changed. Any similarities with existing persons of the same name are purely coincidental. Okay, so these are real cases.
Frankfurt, West Germany, 1956.
That's rough.
11 years after the end of World War II, many crimes of the Nazi era still go unpunished. The perpetrators of these crimes are walking free. Many judges, prosecutors, and police officers have already served under the Nazis. Now they have no interest in prosecuting their former comrades for actions similar to their own. For the victims of these crimes, this is unbearable. To end this, Attorney General Fritz Bauer establishes a special unit of young prosecutors with no ties to the old regime. I am Esther Katz. I am one of these prosecutors. We are investigating Nazi crimes and bringing perpetrators to justice. Not to avenge, not to heal, but to show that there are laws that apply to all. It doesn't make us popular. Most want to forget. Some want us to shut up. But they cannot stop us. Nothing belongs to the past. Everything is still present and can become the future again.
That's a great quote.
On the Darkest Files.
Previously on the Darkest
Files. Welcome to the front line. I believe I have the perfect case for you to start with. Hans Naumann, an older gentleman, shot just before the end of the war. According to the victim's wife, her husband was taken by a uniformed man for no reason. I suggest you invite the widow to give a statement.
Mrs. Naumann just arrived. I showed her to the conference room.
I love the
I
art, the visual style.
But please take me through the day your husband was taken.
It was in April 45, only days before the Americans came. Hans was upstairs when the doorbell rang. There were two men. Hans came down and asked them what they wanted. Then everything happened so fast. The small one said they'd let him go if our son would turn himself in. Then they just herded him out, like an animal. This was the last time I saw him alive. Hans was innocent.
Can't imagine what that was like.
They killed him, and that's murder. No matter what they call it. Please, Miss Katz, will you find the man?
Paula, I need you to invite a potential witness.
Of course. Who should I reach out to?
Please invite Mr. Kiebitz.
Act 1, The Insurgent. Fritz Bauer, well, there we go. The first suspect, 11 October 1956. Tutorials. Basic controls. Okay, dialogue choices. Yep.
Looks looks more like somebody's home than a prosecutor's office. Archive.
Okay, so we're not going to the archive. Going to the...
Miss Katz, is there anything I can do for you?
Paula, any new files for me?
I left them on your desk, Miss Katz.
Perfect.
Yesterday's transcript is also attached. If you could please read it to see if everything is correct.
Did I miss
Did
any
anybody
calls?
call me while I wasn't here?
Oh, and there was a call for you. Asked for you to call back. I wrote down the number and left it with the files. I'm afraid he didn't give a name. An older man, I'd say. Sounded very proper, even if he did ignore our questions.
That will be all for now. Thank you, Paula.
Always happy to help.
Prosecutor General. I'm gonna have to take a look at Fritz Bauer. And if you know, if the game is accurate, that man sounds like a badass. 1956. Good 4. Naumann. On May 10th, 1945, a dead body was reported to the police in a wooded area near Munich. The deceased was identified as Hans Naumann, aged 77. The autopsy revealed that he was killed by a 7.65 millimeter Browning caliber gunshot to the forehead at close range, execution style, basically. The victim's widow filed a criminal complaint against unknown persons on August 8, 1945. She had observed 2 men pick up her husband on April 28, 1945. He had been considered missing ever since. The 4 suspects identified in connection with the victim's disappearance were interrogated. All suspects testified that the victim was guilty of treason and was therefore lawfully executed. The evaluation of whether a crime has been committed is the responsibility of the authorized prosecutor's office. Munich, prosecutor. Dear Mr. Bastian, the investigation into the death of Hans Naumann from Munich has revealed that he fell victim to a violent crime. For details, please see the attached file report. We were able to identify the 4 possible suspects who were connected to the victim's disappearance. Waldmann Alfred, Kiebitz Hermann, Schickert Karl, and Schwarz Herbert. The police investigation is thus considered closed and hereby officially turn the case over to your prosecutor's office. If you encounter any questions during the examination for indictment, please do not hesitate to contact us anytime. Manfred Wagner. Protocol of conversation. He asked her, please tell me what happened on the 8th. Schwartz. Herbert Schwartz. I remember that my esteemed colleague Alfred Faultman, group leader of a local group leader for local group 1, tasked with catching the criminal, came to my office. Well, the local group I tasked with catching the criminal. Okay. So the I with the space confused me. He told me they got the traitor and gave his report from the arrest. I went together with Mr. Fahlman out into the hallway. With crimes of this severity, I always give the same order. The order is to execute. I then told my driver to come with me to my office. The others went to the prisoner to carry out my order as requested. The driver, what for? There was already unrest in the country because of the Americans who were just flooding in like flies. I wanted to set up alternative routes with my driver to avoid these Americans and still make it to my important appointments. Shortly thereafter, there was already a polite knock at the door, and group leader Feldman reported to me that the insurgent had been successfully executed. Official order: Germans, national comrades, in this most difficult time for our nation, more than ever, the responsibility for Germany's fate rests on all our shoulders. All Germans are called upon to fight against the traitors in our country. The resistance is to be disarmed, the uprisings have to be quelled. Anyone who propagates or approves of any measure that would weaken our resistance against the enemy is a traitor and must be shot. Any attempt at insubordination must be met with immediate removal from all public positions and expulsion from the party. The name of Germany will not be tarnished. I trust in your confidence, your absolute allegiance and discipline, and feel disgusted just reading this thing. But whatever. Here, Mrs. Naumann, in the above-mentioned proceedings, we made the following decision. The proceedings shall be discontinued pursuant of whatever 170, Section 2 of the Criminal Code, Chapter 470, whatever. The victim was a communist insurgent who carried out highly treasonable actions in wartime situation. The execution ordered by the district was carried out according to the law and enforced at the time of the crime. In the name of the German people, the case of John Naumann, arrested, currently in custody, was involved in treasonous activity. The prisoner is to be immediately executed as traitor to the German nation. Okay, so that sounds like nonsense, but whatever. Original document ranking saving the political leaders of the NSDAP. Reichs leadership, Reichsleiter, Gauleiter, the deputy Gauleiter and worker. Leader, head official worker. Okay. Okay, armor, field tunic, under officer, junior sergeant, sergeant, corporal. Wow, so many insignias. Schnecker Karl, Kiewitz Hermann, is this, and Faultman Alfred. This is the one we just got. Huh? I'm gonna yeah. The first witness would come in later today. I had some documents to your case file. And there was a one calling for you who left a number. Unfortunately, he hung up before I could get his name. Please ask if you need anything else. Okay. Your notebook contains your current to-dos or reviews of the characters and more. Access to the radio menu. Dismiss. So, notebook. The game box where Mr. Bauer integrated the first suspect as soon as he arrives. Let's call back the number.
Who do I want to call?
Hello?
Father? I didn't expect you'd call me here.
Oh, Esther, my dear. So good to hear you. Did you settle in all right?
Somehow, I doubt you just called to check up on me.
There's my smart girl. Do you remember our little talk? It must have been last month.
Is this about that job at your friend's firm? Bergmann, was it?
Bergmann, Kranich and Partners, yes. Bergmann is one of my oldest friends. Family law, very respectable.
I already have a job.
I'm not looking for another job right now.
Unfortunately, I know. It's why I have to do it. Esther, let me be very frank with you. I am proud of you. I really am. A prosecutor at your age, with the view on women on our line of work being what it is, I'd have to be a fool not to. But your mother and I, we are worried. Do you have any idea what they say about Bauer?
Some people hate him, it's true.
There are those who hate him. That means he's on the right track.
To be young and so naive again. He's hated because he's on a witch hunt. Listen to your father. Leave. Nothing good will come from this.
I make my own decisions now, Father.
No, Essie. I must apologize. I did not mean to get so passionate
I mean,
about
no,
this.
I would, in his place, I would be
Just
terrified
worried.
too.
You don't know how important one's reputation is. And if people start to associate you with that man, I just want what's best for you, Essie.
I know, Dad.
I'm proud of you. I know I already said that, but I really am. Like you can't imagine.
I mean, I would, as a dad, if I were a father, I would be terrified too. You know? Frankfurter Stimme. Bauer's witch hunt, irresponsible and detrimental to the stability of the states. These were the words used by the member of the Hessian State Parliament last week to describe Fritz Bauer's work as Attorney General.
Miss Katz, Mr. Bauer wants to talk to you.
Oh, any idea why?
I am sure he just wants to hear the latest up. He also said he wants to make sure you are properly prepared.
Properly prepared? What does he mean by that?
I have a hunch, but it's best to ask him that yourself.
Thank you, Paula. I'll be joining him in a minute.
Hello, Miss
I
Cox.
love the art style so
Any
much.
news regarding the Naumann case?
Yes, I think so. After talking to Mrs. Naumann, it seems like Hans Naumann was indeed innocent. The men were looking for his son, Jan Naumann. When they couldn't find Jan, they took Hans instead, the father.
I assume that's what Miss Naumann told you. But are you sure she is telling the truth?
According to the files, the man they were looking for had climbed up a flagpole, torn down a flag, and beaten up a block warden when he was caught in the act. Hans Naumann was 77 years old at the time. Of course, there are older men who are in good shape, but
Pulling down a flag and beating someone up seems unlikely. I understand.
yes,
I see, but why did the man take him if they knew he was innocent?
I think I had to take someone.
considering the times, they might have been afraid of coming back empty-handed. Or they could have hoped their actual suspect would turn himself in, hearing his father was taken.
Highly illegal, even back then. Not uncommon, though. But why did they shoot the old man?
I don't know yet.
That I don't know yet. But I believe this is definitely a case for us.
It is indeed. We need witnesses.
I'd start with the names mentioned in the files of the first investigation. I've already invited Hermann Kiebitz to join me later this afternoon.
Excellent. Let's get this case to court, Miss Cutts. And be mindful of time. We do not have nearly enough of it here. Once you hear from all witnesses, we need to move to court quickly. Since you have never led a case before, I want you to be prepared. Mr. Peters has agreed to look over your shoulder and help you out. Present your findings, prove your claims. It will help you to familiarize yourself with the ins and outs of court. We cannot afford to fail at court, and preparation is the key to success.
I'll do what I can.
I'm now fascinated with this. I need to look into the real history of this. If there is since these are true crimes and Fritz Bauer's name is being kept as is, I need to look that up. Huh? I want to see the arrest set currently. What organizes the aim at weakening individuals resisting against the invading force. Auf Straße 12 Munich. Curiously, in these documents, I can't see the thing of or the flagpole thing. Okay.
The door is locked. I should meet with Peters.
The ranking of the peace treaty, make it 7. The lower 6 out of 49 belongs to the past. The main prize Will now require the correct choice of 7 numbers, decreasing the chance of picking the winning sequence, but increasing the price itself. Catholic Day Leave, tension with Moscow, defending Europe. Arming up the German army will be supplied with American equipment for the years 1957 to 1960. Preparations for this deal were completed by U.S. Secretary of State John Foster Dulles and West German Ambassador to Washington, Kreckler.
Not the cleanest of places.
Miss Katz, is there anything I can do for you?
Where's Peterson?
Paula, where can I find the office of Mr. Peters?
Oh, no problem. It's down the hall, last office on your right, opposite to the kitchen.
That will be all.
Always have.
Oh, so let's talk to Mr. Peters.
What?
And hello to you too.
Right. Sorry.
Mr. Bauer told me we should work together.
Right. The court preparations. Paula has already given me the protocols of yesterday's interrogation. I haven't got around to reading it yet. But there is no point discussing it before you've met the witnesses anyway.
Peters,
Katz?
thank you for thinking I'm a total beginner.
Oh, you're welcome. Someone has to do it, since Mr. Bauer apparently overestimates your abilities. And while we're at it, don't forget to bring some evidence. I don't want us to improvise the whole thing.
That's obvious, Peters.
Good. As soon as you think you're ready, come by and we'll get it over with. What does she want now? Yes, Paula.
Excuse me, Mr. Peters, but I have a message for Miss Katz.
I'm listening, Paula.
The witness you asked me to contact, Hermann Kiebitz, just arrived.
What was your impression of him?
Ordinary man. A bit, how do I say this best without seeming unprofessional?
If you two could stop chatting, some of us need to get back to work.
Unpleasant. I think that's the right word. Unpleasant.
Thank you, Paula. I'll be right with him.
Hey. Witness is here. Huh?
Good morning. My name is Esther Katz.
A pleasure, miss. Could you tell me how long I have to wait for the prosecutor?
Mr. Kiebitz, I'm the prosecutor here.
Oh, modern times, I guess. How long will this take?
Who are you? As long as it
will
needs.
take as long as it takes.
It's all right, miss. I'm just asking.
Let's get started, shall we? This is about the arrest of Hans Naumann in Munich on April 28, 1945. According to a witness, 2 men picked up Mr. Naumann from his apartment. Were you one of them?
You're pretty, you know that?
Mr. Kiebitz, were you one of those men?
No, I wasn't. We drove to the house. Then our group leader and Mr. Schickert got out of the car to arrest the men. Then they tossed the old man into the car and headed to the district office.
The district office. Where was it located?
We just had moved it into the basement of an old brewery, still stuffed with beer bottles and barrels. District Leader Schwarz came out and gave the command.
Here are all the names of people present in memories. In this case, go to your office, inspect the files.
What command? What did he say?
He ordered us to execute the man. Then he left. I felt uneasy. This wasn't right.
Wait, there's something in the case file. In the transcription. Group leader. Task force came to my office. Remember the Feldman? Yeah, that's accurate. he did say to them, Schwartz came out and gave the command, yeah.
We followed group leader Falkman to the cell. There was tension.
Were there any other prisoners at that time?
Obviously, yes. We had to put the traitors somewhere. We adapted part of the storage rooms as cells.
What were your local group's responsibilities in the very last days of the war?
We were responsible for all concerns and for many households within Munich. Above all, we tried to eliminate insurgencies.
Okay, that's adding context to our investigation. I love this.
Why did you relocate the office?
Because of a big air raid. We wanted to be underground. We hoped it would be safer.
I really like this, that you can,
With the district office being a brewery, you helped yourself to the stocks?
Of course not. How could you assume something like that? We may have had a drink or two, but never on duty.
yeah, right. Yeah, I don't believe that for a second.
This must be the sale. Was your local group in contact with other local groups?
Just in Bavaria, there were 28 local groups. We were in constant contact with them.
How did you ensure the energy supply?
The district struggled to produce enough energy. There were frequent power failures. For emergency, we had a generator. If worst came to worst, we used oil lamps.
I think that's all we can explore for now. Now, I don't want to jump into this scene. This is going to be, even though it's stylized and they look like paper characters, just the thought that we're seeing what is essentially a true crime just, goosebumps, but
We
let's do it.
all entered the cell.
Could you describe the cell?
Very basic. Mattress, window, chair.
What was Mr. Falkman doing?
Group leader Falkman seemed to hesitate. He shared my concerns about killing the old sod. He told us to wait.
That's not accurate. Wait. Forward the execution. There's we're gonna bookmark that in from the old case file. The contract, shortly thereafter was already a polite knock at the door. Glubier Falkman reported to me that the insurgent had been executed. So, Falkman said that the order went ahead. But let's bookmark. Because I'm going to be referencing that one a lot.
Yet Schickert insisted. He referred to that new order about dealing with insurgents. He was such a stickler for the rules. He could be really annoying about these things.
You're throwing that guy under the bus?
What did he say?
He insisted that any delay would constitute treason.
And treason must be reported, he said. The refusal to obey orders would be of interest for the Gestapo. Faced with this open threat of being denounced, we did not dare to act.
I'm actually gonna... I want to check again. Mr. Feldman opens. Feldman was the one who said that executed him.
For how long were the prisoners held in these cells?
Mostly around a week.
6 days. It's like that tracks. That
Were the compartments prepared to host prisoners?
Kind of. We adjusted them so our prisoner could stay there for interrogations and not get out.
Huh? What else can we find around this room? I think we can't do anything else but watch.
The tension was strong. Group leader Feldman ordered us to wait once more, but Schickert drew his gun and shot him.
What weapons did the people present have? Standard issue equipment?
We could wish. Those were the last days. We had almost nothing left. Rifles, pistols, ammunition. We had to use whatever was somehow left, or what we managed to get out of the ruins.
Interesting. I should ask Paula if she can find any information about this. I think I'm still missing something. They must have had petrol to run the generator, or to destroy evidence.
Yeah, that sounds a bit accurate. Good thing that it's just shows you like the face of the attacker. Doesn't go into the gory, gruesome details. I think the developers might understand that, you know, when you're talking about real crimes, it can be really off-putting.
I can still hear the sirens in my head. They seem to last forever. But it may just have been a minute full of despair. If you survived it. How did Mr. Schwarz's office look like?
Quite fancy given the circumstances. Leather chair, massive oak desk. District Leader Schwarz cared about showing off.
What were Mr. Schwarz's responsibilities as a district leader?
He was responsible for organizing relief measures for the party during air raids, coordinating local groups, providing food and emergency quarters. He had also found the brewery for us and organized the move.
Ooh, so we have information about everybody.
How was working under Mr. Feldman?
Great. He was a good leader and a better man. It was a pleasure to work with him. Even though some people might have disagreed, we had our share of malcontents in the group. But he knew how to deal with them effectively.
Interesting. I should ask Paula if she can find any information about this. How did you and Mr. Schickert get along?
He and I didn't have much to do with each other. We were just part of the same local group.
I doubt that very much.
He was no feast for the eyes. A cranky guy. Strange. Always strict with his work, but annoying from time to time. He was obsessed with Prussian virtues.
Okay, Prussian virtues, something to look up.
What were your responsibilities in your local group?
Most of the time I accompanied District Leader Schwarz and drove him when he needed a driver. He knew how to convey power and discipline.
Didn't he say something about the... Wait. Case file again, bookmark. He say something. In the hallway. I then told my driver to come with me to my office. The others went to the prisoner to carry out my order. If this guy was the driver, why he couldn't have been there to carry out the order? He's lying. come with me to my office. He's the driver. So he's lying. We found a guilty person.
Was Mr. Schwarz involved in the execution?
He gave the orders, but the members of the local group were responsible for carrying them out. Surely you can't expect a busy man like the district leader to attend every execution in person.
There was no execution order in the files I got. If it exists, I should check if I can get my hands on it. Did Mr. Schwarz even get to see the victim, Hans Naumann?
Not entirely sure. He was in his office when we brought the perpetrator.
The victim?
The victim into a cell.
If Schwarz didn't see the victim, did he know they had the wrong man? What did he know? How was your relationship to Mr. Schwarz?
He treated me fairly and friendly. I learned a lot from him.
Yeah, I wonder what you learned. Unless the guy had another driver, our man Kibitz here is lying out of his ass. Nothing else here to see? Okay, time to head out.
So what you are saying is, Schickert shot the old man against Mr. Feldman's order?
Exactly.
That's horrible.
These are brutal events you're getting to hear here. Are you sure you're up for it? Honestly, no one would think this is a job for a woman. What do you have to prove? I will file a formal complaint.
That will not be necessary, Mr. Kibitz. My superior knows quite well that I am up for it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have this job. Thank you for your time, Mr. Kibitz.
Goodbye, Miss Katz.
That dude was lying.
If you have a moment, I have something for you.
So, I've done some digging beforehand.
Yes?
And found something potentially useful for you. The brewery's blueprint. I put it in your office on the corkboard. I thought it might help you to have more of a physical understanding of the crime scene.
I need some
I need
documents.
some additional files.
Something specific?
According to the suspects, the shooting was ordered by the deceased Mr. Schwarz. But I saw no copy of such an order in the original case's files.
That's weird. I'll look into it right away.
Anything else?
I need information on the equipment used by the local group. Weapons, mainly. As bureaucratic as the NSDAP was, they must have kept some sort of record.
Of course. I'll start looking. Anything else?
One of the suspects mentioned something interesting about Mr. Feldman. Could you check if there was anything strange happening with his subordinates? Threats, blackmail, anything?
Of course. I'll start looking. Anything else?
That's it for
I
now.
think that will be it for now.
I hope it can help you with the preparations for Mr. Peters.
I'm sure it will. Thank you, Paula.
Right. Hans Naumann. Build your theory. Kibitz. Oh, wait. Course of the crime. Divided in 5 steps. Each step is connected with a blueprint that you enter by editing the blueprint. You can move the figures around to display their locations and assign them action. Select the character and give him the action to answer the first question. Who ordered the execution? Brianna, with Mr. Peace answering only step one is enough. Please build the rest of the statement, yeah. Parts. Who went to the cell with Mr. This is not constructed yet, so. Parts went back here, you went here, Schickard went here, and Schickard went here. Okay. Who's this the order? The Gestapo order, him. Norman, here, for now. Unless it's all, I mean, no, it's all a lie. We don't know enough yet. Yeah, this one thing I know.
My theory is made. I have my files. I think I'm ready for the meeting with Peters.
Not yet. I want my extra documents.
Oh, good you're here. Mr. Peter, not only Peter
Is everything...
I don't want to sound unprofessional, but working with him is a pain at times. Why does he always have to be so rude?
I don't know what his problem is, but I have little hope that it will ever get better.
Well, I hope you're wrong. Anyway, is there anything I can do for you?
Not at the moment.
I want to see if the archives are open.
Peters is still waiting for me. I should go meet with him.
Fine.
Honorable Miss Cutts, would you be ready then?
I think so. How are we going to do that?
I will act as defense and court, and you will do your part.
But have you studied the case well enough to actually help me here?
Yes, I did. Some people have to take their work seriously, you know. Anyway, you present your prosecution, support your conclusions with evidence, and win the case. And I'm trying to stop you from doing just that. Should be a piece of cake. For one of us, at least.
Huh.
His execution was ordered by Herbert Schwarz, the district leader for the city of Munich. As the highest-ranking person involved, he bears the main responsibility for Mr. Norman's death. Mr. Schwarz is unfortunately deceased, and as such cannot be tried. This does not, however, absolve his subordinates of their culpability.
Objection. According to the witness statement, it was Mr. Schickard who gave the order. Can you support your claims with meaningful evidence?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. If you would take a look at this. This document clearly states that it was Mr. Schwarz who gave the order.
Not bad cuts, but not great either. If that's all the prosecution can come up with, the case is as good as lost. Knowing the right answers is often not enough to win your case. You also need to form the right conclusions. Conclusions the court is willing to follow, because they are plausible, and because you can back them up with evidence. A valid conclusion is always based on several clues. The one clue we are very certain is true is that Schwarz gave the command. So your conclusion should be based on that. Open your case file and give it a go.
Now I can see it. I think I got it.
Shoot.
We have several consistent statements that Schwartz gave the order to shoot. There are no discrepancies in the testimonies. It says so in the files, and Mr. Schwartz stated it himself in 1947. Therefore, I conclude the order to shoot Hans Naumann came from District Leader Herbert Schwartz.
Congratulations. Well done, Katz. If you argue just as coherently in court, this might go better than I expected. However, it was not particularly difficult, and it will probably not be that easy again. Still, well done.
Thank you, Peters.
Enough practice. Your case is waiting. Keep up the good work.
What now?
You should ask Paula to invite the next witness. There is still a lot we don't know.
Next stop, Paula. Peters?
Katz?
Dude, buddy. Okay, this is turning out pretty fascinating. If I combining different bits of testimony, documents, I love this. This is my
Miss Katz,
thing.
how can I help you?
Having said so, I could never be an investigator. The stress alone would kill me.
I need you to invite a potential witness.
Of course. Who should I reach out to?
Oh. Bodman. Let's go with Schickert. Because I know what his personality is supposed to be like.
Please invite Mr. Schickert next.
We'll reach out immediately. Oh, and there was a letter for you. I left it on your desk.
Jewish pig, we know where you live, we know what you do, we are watching day and night, we see you. German people have been through enough because of vermin like you. You should have burned with the rest of your kind. Instead of disappearing, hiding in the gutters where you belong, you once again attacked us. So hear us, you will burn. You will finish what we started, beginning with traitor trash like you. Delightful. Delightful people. Ugh.
This is Esther Katz. Hello?
Whatever Kiebitz told you, don't believe it. It's all a lie.
I already know. Oh, I think this is the end of the demo.
Everyone was an ardent Nazi. Now they all claim to have resisted, doubted, hesitated, to have said no. Trouble is, somebody must have said yes. But who tells the truth?
Oh, I need to play this game fully. I need to do this. Don't leave me hanging just the middle of the case. I need to know if my conclusion was correct or not. Also, I want to look at the real history behind this. You know, how much of this is accurate? What kind of man was Fritz Bauer? I'm very interested. Okay, this has me hooked. He already had me hooked, but now I desperately want to play it. I must play it. So, I'm gonna shut up now. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.